Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is Mr. Miller. It's a pleasure being here for me. And we are going to have a general reinforcement of certain topics that we have seen so far. Now, it's time to crack the books. Let's move it on right now. The first concept that we need to have clear in our minds is the concept vacuum. In vacuum, the emptiness, when there's nothing, around you. It's mean that if there's no friction, it's mean that the movement will be eternal, or that if an object has movement, it will be eternal, then eternally movement. In the emptiness, eternally movement. In the emptiness, eternally movement. That's right. The second concept that we have to have clear yes or yes is the concept air friction. How the air friction will help an airplane to descend correctly, because you already know that the airplanes cannot descend in this way. An airplane never gonna be descending in this way. Never. The airplane or the aircraft have to descend in this way using the flaps. Okay, you gotta recall that in an airplane there's a part on the wings that is called the flaps. The flaps makes the air flow through the wings and it's gonna push down the airplane, right? Then the airplane is descending due to the air friction. Let's recall this. The airplane is descending due to the air friction. Then you gotta recall this. Yes, so yes, the air friction is gonna make an airplane to descend, to be descending right correctly. Then you gotta record this. Air friction may cause the airplane to descend. Okay. Now it is, and as you already know, the airplane is gonna be descending due to the air friction, but also you gotta recall that the airplane has certain shape or certain geometry. Okay, this geometry is related to the aerodynamics, and the aerodynamics is a way where or that we can use in order to speed up the objects and reduce the air friction, right? That's pretty interesting. The aerodynamics is an helpness, is an extra helpness about how to speed up and how to reduce the friction. Down the airplane is gonna have certain streamlined geometry to have less friction and speed up. And now it's like the aerodynamics make the air friction instead of stop me, make it move me. Okay, then if it make me move instead of maybe stop, that's pretty interesting. Then you gotta recall this. You gotta recall aerodynamic helps or reduce our friction. Oh, now you gotta recall this, baby. Yes, so yes, that you gotta recall, like, the earth friction is gonna be reduced by using aerodynamic. That's right. Aerodynamic will reduce the air friction and speed up. Will speed up. That's why the airplane's geometry is pretty important for those that fabricate the airplanes, right? You already gotta know this, okay? You already know this, and you already gotta know this, okay? And the third concept that we need to have is yes or yes. Oh, but before advancing, we have to have this clear. That is, the geometry reduces the air friction. Geometry reduce or reduces air friction. Geometry reduces air friction. You can recall this. That's our main point, right? Four, what role does aerodynamics play in the movement of an object? What is the role of aerodynamics? You can recall this, okay? The aerodynamics have two roles, two main roles. The first one is reduce the air friction, and the second one is to increase the speed or to speed up, right? You gotta recall this: reduce friction and speed up. Reduce friction and those are the two roles, or the two main roles that the air friction or the aerodynamics have. Okay, you already you already know this. What is the relationship between surface area and contact friction? you have to have in your mind this concept. More friction, more surface area contact. More friction, more surface area contact. Then there is an direct proportional. Okay, if it changes, it changes. Okay, if it increases as well. There is an direct proportion, right? You have to remember this. Okay, more surface or more contact area surface, more friction. More surface, more friction. It's pretty easy, easy peasy cake. Okay, we have to know. Let me just handle myself. It's pretty important. We are going to talk about the tires, the the white tires that the F1 cars do that have this kind of whites. Yeah, those are the tires are white because the cars do need more friction, right? Because they need a lot of friction. Then why the tires are so wide? Because we need friction. It just meet our previous knowledge, yeah, or our previous concept that is more surface contact, more friction. And on Formula One car will need a lot of friction, okay, because they have a lot of speed. They have of they handle increases its speeds. That's why they will need a lot of friction, right? You already know this. You cannot fail this assessment. No, I'm doing my best in order to have the best knowledge. If you have liked this video so far, you already know what you gotta do. Hit the bell and like the video. Okay, now the eighth concept that we should have in um, in our mind is that the air friction is going to slow down all the time. And air friction or the friction slow down. Okay, the friction, even if you analyze this, the friction, the opposite force to friction is movement. That's pretty easy and is the main concept. The opposite to friction is movement or motion, right? You have to have this in your mind. Okay, and now we have to have this in mind that the air friction by using the aerodynamics, that the aerodynamics is the geometry helpness is 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 how the form or how the geometry will help me to reduce the friction and to increase the speed. That's how I'm going to leverage leverage that we are going to leverage the aerodynamics by using an accurate geometry that reduces the air friction. Okay, it means that the aerodynamic makes the air instead of crash, it makes me move. Instead of crash, it makes me move. Right? It's the concept. And the concept that we need to have in clear yes or yes is which how the aerodynamics will help to speed up. Okay, how I kind of speed up by using the aerodynamics, and that's a pretty interesting concept because the aerodynamics makes the our frictions flow. That's why we have an streamline. Okay, because on a streamlines, if I make this a movement in this here, it's gonna crash. It's gonna have this contact area, a lot contact area. However, if I reduce the contact area and I say, okay, it can be this. This is the contact area right now. It's thinner than the previous one, right? Wider, thinner, right? Then this is gonna make the air flow. Okay, the air is gonna flow in a stretch of crash. It's not gonna be crashing. It's gonna be flowing through the object, the streamline object. Okay, that's pretty interesting, and we have to have this in mind. Yes, oh yes. Okay, now which factor helps the which factor helps an object to move faster in the air or in the ground or on the ground or perhaps in the water? Which factor helps to increase the speed and reduce the friction? And we have mentioned this a bunch of times previously in this podcast is the aerodynamics. The aerodynamics reduce the friction and speed up. Okay, you gotta record this. This is the aerodynamics. Okay, you gotta record this. If there's no friction, the movement will be eternal. No friction, eternal movement. It's pretty basic. There's nothing that is going to stop it because there's no friction. It's mean that the movement will be eternally, right? You gotta record this. You gotta record this. And now another one that we have this why do race cars to have the streamlined? What is the streamlined? A streamlined like a submarine. We are living in a submarine. Yeah, you gotta record this. This is the streamlined. That's a streamlined shape. Yeah, the shape of is an streamline. Why a submarine has this streamline? Because the submarine also has to reduce the water friction. It's not the air friction, but it's the same friction. It's air friction, water friction, ground friction, whatever friction. We need to reduce the friction, okay, in order to speed up. Because if we want to stop, if we want to be if we want to be stoppable, we have to be streamlined because we need to reduce the friction and speed up and speed the object up, right? Now you gotta record this on the race cams. A streamline reduce the friction. A streamline is the same. That's a aerodynamics, a streamline reduce friction. Aerodynamic, streamline, reduce friction. It's the same concept, right? You need to match those concepts. Aerodynamics, streamline, reduce friction. That's all that you gotta know, and that's all that you gotta recall. Okay, nothing else. You have liked this video so far, you already know what you gotta do. Comment if you have some doubts, comment below that I will be more than glad to ask them or to answer them as soon as possible. Okay, the next one is let's not this is which factor? Okay, which factor? I'm gonna to say this. If an object has a decreased a high aerodynamics, it means that their friction will be low, right? High aerodynamic, low friction, right? That's a concept that we have to have clear. And there's another concept that we have to clear right now is what is the main function of an electric motor? You got to recall what is the electric motor. Can you recall our last laboratory that this is the protoboard, this is the potentiometer, those are the LEDs, those are the jumpers, and this is an electric motor, right? You gotta recall this. The electric motor function is to convert the electricity contained on this battery, that obviously is gonna be 9 volts, right? You gotta recall 9 volts in the battery and 120 on the outlets, right? Recall this. Never insert nothing into the outlets. That's forbidden, okay? Don't kill yourself. Just kidding, but yes, don't do it. Okay. What is the main idea of the electric motor? Is that you're going to convert the electricity that is an state of material of an state of energy, that is the electrical energy, is transformed to motion or to movement. That's why when I press the switch is the one responsible for controlling the electricity flowing. And also I have here the potentiometer that regarding our Ohm's law is a variable resistance. The potentiometer is a variable resistance. A variable resistance. Potentiometer is a variable resistance. The potentiometer is a variable resistance. Don't forget because it's gonna be on your last assessment and you don't want to fail it, right? You need to get the novice scope and you know that you're gonna have a break and you break your leg. Okay, break a leg. Then you already know what is the main function of an electric motor, and that is to transform the electricity into motion, right? Please don't forget it and don't give me a cold shoulder on this. Don't give me a cold shoulder. No, me ignoring. Don't give me a cold shoulder on this, and you gotta record this. The electric motor is an object that transforms the electricity into motion. That's the main concept that we gotta record this. Okay. Also, we need to recall certain interested topic of and the physics topic. That is the force. What is what is a force, or what is the main function of a force, or how you could be defined the force? And we are going to be using the smoother way, okay? The smoother way, el camino más fácil, the smoother way. We are gonna be using the smoother way, right? This smoother way is gonna be saying like the capability of doing something. The capability of doing something, because the force, you're gonna use the force to weightlifting, right? You're going to use force for walking, for eating. You're gonna be using force for everything that you're using or that you're doing on your days, right? Then the first is the capability of doing something. It doesn't care about what are you doing, is the capability of doing something, right? Then you gotta recall what is a force. Force is capability of doing something. The first is capability of doing something. The first is capability of doing something, capability of doing something. That's a force. And also we gotta record that there are almost four kind of forces, right? That is the mechanical forces, electrical forces, quantum forces, and electromagnetic forces. Also, we have nuclear forces on all kind of forces that we have on the physics. If you want to know more, you can click on Google and you can state which kind of forces to access on on the reality, right? You are gonna have that force list. And also we have the potential, the kinetic, and all the kind of forces that are derived derived from the math and from the physics, right? Then if you want to know more, just Google it, which are the forces. Okay. But in a simple definition, the force is capability of doing something mechanical, electromagnetic, nuclear, and there are a lot of forces that you could know, right? What do the balance force? Okay, you got to recall something pretty interesting that is related to the Newton's law, that is action reaction, right? But what about if the forces are the same, not movement, right? The same forces, not movement. Different forces, movement. Different forces, movement. Same forces, not movement, right? Because the forces are zero. If the forces are zero, it means that the object it's not moving. It's not moving at all. Okay, or it's not being moved at all. Okay, then you gotta record this. Okay, the forces, if the forces are the same, it means that there's no motion. If are not the same, there's motion, right? It's an easy pay, easy peasy. Oh no, you and the last concept that I guess that we are gonna record in this class, in this video, is that the friction is the positive to motion. Who is the positive to motion? Friction. Who is the positive to friction? Motion. Motion or positive friction, okay? Then you got to recall also that in the way we have gravity and acceleration, right? And that we have on the normal, right? Normal gravity acceleration. The gravity amount is 10 meters, 10 meters square, right? 10 meters. And also you gotta recall which is the function of the machines. The machines reduce the forces that we use to weightlifting. Okay, we have to record this, and if you want to know more or you have got some question, don't hesitate to comment them below. I'm gonna be more than thankful or more than grateful to answer them. If you have some doubts, ask them and hit the bell. If you have liked this video, you already know what you're gonna do. Subscribe yourself to my channel, hit the bell, and you know what? It's time to crack the books. See you later.